Hey everyone, it's me, Jeremy Parrish, and it's time for another morning stream. This one's a couple minutes late because I had to get my coffee. Otherwise, the stream would be a sad and pathetic thing. So, this morning, I'm taking a break from that Super NES showcase I've been doing to show off the Retro USB AVS, which is an upcoming, what do you want to call it, clone console, sort of. It's coming from RetroUSB. It's shipping next month. I got an early review copy, and I've been putting it through its paces this week, and it's really good. So basically, this is the startup menu. You have, instead of jumping directly into a game, you have a few options. I'll show those off one at a time before we jump into the games themselves. So you can set up, let's see, you can turn on and off cheat codes with a preset button mapper, and you can also reset to the console menu by holding select and A and B, since I don't think any NES game uses that combo. That was a safe one. There's a few other things. Expansion emulation. You know, the family computer, the Japanese Famicom, the original version of the NES, didn't have detachable controllers. So there is an expansion port on the Famicom that's unique to that system. If you turn on the emulation here, you can use Japanese controllers and things like the basic keyboard and that sort of thing. I haven't really messed with that yet, but everything else about the system works great, so I would assume this does too. You can turn on and off turbo features, and the 4-score Pro if you want to play with 4 people. The system does have 4 controller ports on the front, like any good console these days. Post Super or post N64, yes, that's what you call it. So these are kind of built into the system, and you can jump back to this menu anytime, again, by holding select and A and B, which is pretty handy. The more helpful thing that probably more people are going to be interested in is the video option setting, and I'm not going to mess with the video mode because it'll screw up the stream, but you can switch between NTSC and PAL, so it does support 50 hertz PAL videos from the UK. I don't have any PAL cartridges, so I haven't really tested that out. I tried loading a PAL region game on an EverDrive, and it just went to a black screen. It's probably not a fault with the console itself. I mean, this is, a clone with a field programmable gate array core, and the EverDrive is a clone with a field programmable gate array core. So you're asking for like 2 layers of hardware emulation. So I would expect a little funkiness occasionally doing weird things on an EverDrive, but mostly EverDrive works fine. Pixel aspect, I've got this set at basically true, what you would see resolution square pixels, but you can stretch the system as much as you want. If you're one of those horrible people who's like, yeah, I gotta have all the pixels filled on the screen, you can do that. You're a monster, but it's possible, and I hate you. But it is. I'm keeping it this way because I find on my television that if I don't keep it at square pixels, I get kind of like a shimmery distortion effect, and that's probably a function of the fact that this is outputting 720p and my television is 1080p, so it gets a little weird. The stream is actually broadcasting at 720p, so you're not going to see any weirdness. But anyway, you can set the pixel aspect ratio. This I think is probably closer to an actual original, tube television, the way it was supposed to be seen, but I'm just keeping it this way. Vertical border basically allows you to set how much of the overscan on the top and bottom is cut off. The NES actually output resolution at 240 pixels vertically, but most games only use like 224 as space, and then there's a lot of garbage at the top and bottom. You can turn this off if you want, but I find that with any game that scrolls vertically, like Bionic Commando or Super Mario Bros. 3, it looks really bad. There's all this junk. So you can shut that off. Scan lines I have on. I'm going to turn them off for the stream. You can set different like thickness, darkness to the scan lines to emulate a CRT television. I find that playing 8-bit NES games on a 40-inch or 48-inch or whatever LCD television looks a lot better if you use scan lines. But that's just because, you know, it's such huge blocks. But for the sake of the stream, which doesn't handle tiny details that well, I'm turning the scan lines off. Left side hide, basically, you know, certain games would use kind of the left column. Super Mario Brothers 3, I think, is the best example of this. The leftmost column of pixels, which was also overscan on most televisions back then, and something that you wouldn't seen, they used that column to kind of like keep junk data and do some processing. So if you hide that, then you don't see that garbage. So I'm actually kind of cropping a lot of the overscan with my settings right now. So I'm actually going to be seeing, you're going to be seeing games as you would more like on an old TV, as opposed to as what you'd see on, you know, just like a raw emulator. You're not going to see everything, and that's going to help your eyeballs, and you'll thank me. Extra sprites, you know, the NES had a limit. Sprites were 8 by 8 pixels, and you could have up to 8 of them on a horizontal line. If you had more than that, then you got flicker. If you turn off the extras or turn on the extra sprites, it gets rid of most of that flicker. It doesn't get rid of all of it. I tried it on the what is it? The Metal Man stage in Mega Man 2, where you have those spiked plungers that drop, which is just, you know, like a hellhole for flicker. And even with the sprites on, extra sprites on, it doesn't get rid of all of that. Expansion volume, if you're using a Famicom disk system or Japanese cartridges that use expansion audio, that sets the volume for the add-on channels. I'm not going to be using a Famicom disk system just because if I switch the system on and off, it's going to kill the stream and I'll lose most of you and you'll have to rejoin. So instead, I'm going to be playing from an EverDrive and committing horrible acts of piracy so that I can do a soft reset. The scoreboard feature, I believe, has not been implemented yet. That'll go live once the system actually ships, but you can upload your games and there'll be like an online scoreboard for you to check out. I think Brian Parker, the guy behind RetroUSB, is making like an iOS app for the scoreboard. So, you know, if you want to test your mettle and see how high you can grind a score in Super Mario Brothers 3, that option's available. And then finally, there's cheat codes, which you're not going to be able to use for an EverDrive because the EverDrive has cheat codes built in. But the system recognizes cartridges when you plug them in. So if I were to plug in, say, Super Mario Brothers 3 or Mega Man 2 or whatever, most of the games that are, you know, part of the NES library, everything I've tried so far, the system just recognizes and it automatically gives you like the most popular cheat codes for that device. So instead of having to punch them in individually, you can just select from a menu, which appears down at the bottom half of the screen. You can also use this interface to, you know, input your own codes and experiment and dive around, or just use codes that aren't pre-built into the system if you want. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, that's the menu. It's pretty straightforward. And so I'm going to jump into the EverDrive. Shield your eyes. There's brazen acts of intellectual property theft happening here. So we're going to start with Super Mario Brothers 3. And we'll load that. And hopefully, I don't hear any audio. Oh, right, because Super Mario Brothers 3 doesn't have audio at the title screen. There we go. Okay, the audio is playing. Confused me for a second. So yeah, you know, I could take this approach and start from the beginning of the game. And I know some people wanted to see the first level of Super Mario Brothers 3 to see if some of the hardware-specific glitches are in the game. And if you look right under Mario, yeah, there's the Sprite 0 hit error. That also appears in Mega Man 3 on the level select screen right above Shadow Man. And I've seen it in Castlevania, or actually Akumajo Dracula, Akumajo Densetsu, yeah, the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. So it does have some of those little glitches and errors, and that's how you know it's legit. But apparently there's another error that causes that something that happens when you fly in this stage and only appears with an EverDrive on the previous HDMI adapter or mod that Kevin Horton created. So apparently the bottom of the screen shakes when you fly here, and I don't see any shaking, so it looks like that is resolved, or not an issue. The Kevtris mod is being used in the Analog NT, and a revised version of it I think is going to be part of the NT Mini. So hopefully that will be fixed up. I'm going to be testing out an HDMI modded Analog NT and reviewing the Mini at some point so we can compare and contrast, but it is not an issue present in this system, so that's cool. But yeah, so far I found this device is pretty damn accurate. It looks good, sounds good. I haven't noticed any audio problems, any weird glitches that wouldn't exist otherwise in a game. I do find the glitches that do exist in games, so that's pretty rad. Okay, so yay, I played Mario, but you know, what if I want to change the settings? Then I hold down select and hit A and B, and I go right back to the main menu, and let's turn off the left side hiding and see what happens. So then I go back to the cart. It doesn't resume where I was. It does dump everything from RAM, but that is, you know, just one of those real life situations you have to deal with. So now you can see the left side is showing. I shouldn't have hit the start button so quickly so you could see it, but yeah, you can see that white, or blue space to the side of the screen, the left side. And that is something that was, you know, game developers said, well, people can't see that on their TVs, so let's just use this for whatever. And sometimes the NES has to handle data over there when it, you know, is cycling through a lot of stuff. So it's a little bit ugly, and that's why I keep it off. So let's go back and turn it off, because no one wants to see that crap. And one of the cool things about using this with the EverDrive is that the EverDrive has save states built in, so even though the system does not, to my knowledge, at least not that I found, I can jump ahead to my last saved file, which is World 4. Oh, I beat all the cool stages with the giant stuff in them. That's a shame. So let's take on this castle and see what happens, or actually airship. I'll probably die horribly. So after I do just a little bit more here in Mario 3, I'm going to kind of pause and field some questions and comments in the chat. So this stream will be kind of interrupted back and forth, start, stop, whatever. If you guys want to see specific games, go ahead and make the request. I'll do what I can. Like I said, I'm not going to turn off the system and switch over to like a Famicom disk system, because that would cause the stream to become interrupted, and that would suck. I would lose all of you and you'd have to come back. I also am just using an NES style EverDrive, so that means it doesn't have the expansion capabilities. It's not plugging into the Famicom slot of the system, so I can't show off Famicom games that use advanced mapper chips. But I did try out Akumajo Densetsu, you know, the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. That was one of the first games I played, and it sounds great and it appears to run flawlessly. I tested out Lagrange Point, which had the VRC7 mapper chip, which included a, what do you call it, an FM synthesis module, and that sounds great. Like, everything runs the way you would expect and the way it should. Like, the quality of the emulation here, or the, you know, not emulation, but the FPGA programming is really solid. I understand this thing has been in development for like 3 years, and it definitely shows. Like, this thing, you just take it out of the box. There's not much in the box. It's just the system and, oh, bad timing. Oh, worst timing. Oh, that's what I get for talking. All right, let's take some questions. Oh, Mario being flung all the way back. So let's see. Um, what questions do we have or comments? Okay. So someone says that looks really bright. Yes, the games do look pretty bright. If you don't like the brightness, you can turn on the scan lines, and that's cool. Let's see, does the menu boot up whenever you turn it on, or is there a way to quick boot right into a game? I don't actually know. Oh, okay. Flemish Dog says, if you've played a game before, you can press start on the menu. Let's jump into a different game. Golly, what sounds good? Oh, hacks, yes. No, actually, let's not do hacks. It's all just like racist, horrible garbage. People did not make good ROM hacks for the NES for the longest time. It was just like super black person brothers, and it's terrible. Or actually, lots of naked games. I don't know what to play. Oh, Action 52. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's see what happens there. I haven't actually tested this out. Yeah, okay, A5. So, no support for that. Or it could be a faulty ROM or something. I don't know. So if people are wondering why I'm using an EverDrive, because I'm a criminal. No, because if I turn off the system, as I mentioned before, it'll drop the stream. So I'm using this so I can jump around to a bunch of different games and soft reset, because that's good. All right, Mega Man 3, we'll try that. So you can see the scan line error. Oop, I accidentally hit the wrong button combo and created a save state on the title screen. Alright, so yeah, you can see Shadow Man's little junk glitch data is showing up there. So it's legit. And what boss can I beat easily? I can easily beat Snake Man? No. But Top Man? Yes. He's not top. He's somewhere in the middle, possibly toward the bottom. Please pardon the occasional sounds of sipping because it's early in the morning and I need my coffee. If you're just joining in, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm Jeremy Parrish, I work at US Gamer, and I like old video games. So I am working on a review of the RetroUSB AVS, not to be mistaken for the Nintendo AVS, which never actually launched as a product. Oh, Mega Man, you dumbass. Oh wait, I'm the dumbass, because I'm controlling Mega Man. Alright, this is just getting terrible. Anyway, so I'm showing off the AVS and jumping around to a bunch of different games. I'm working on a full review for US Gamer, and we'll have a lot of games in a showcase video that goes along with that review that I'm not showing here. I'll also show off how the game or the system works compared to an HDMI-based and an RGB-based, what do you call it, analog NT. But so far it's pretty favorable. There are some limits to the system. For instance, it's an HDMI-only system, which means that if you want to play light gun games or ROB games for some reason, why would you do that? You're out of luck, because those require a CRT television. To my knowledge, there is no such thing as a CRT based on, or that works with HDMI. So okay, you just saw all that horrible sprite flicker. Let me save. Whoa, okay, that was the wrong button. What did I do? Alright, well, I keep forgetting the button combinations on this damn thing, but I'm going to show you what happens when you turn off the sprite flicker. And I should use the right setting. There we go. Oh, I had extra sprites on. Well, goodness. I guess we've seen the limitations on that. Let's turn off the sprites and see what happens then. So the extra sprites doesn't totally, make everything totally, what do you call it? Oh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, I need to change up my settings. All right, there we go. Into the menu. So yeah, the extra sprites doesn't totally take away flicker, it just reduces it. But it looks pretty solid. I tried it, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and it made a big difference. Alright, back to Top Man stage. And sorry that I can't jump directly back into that, but I hit the wrong damn button combo. So that's just the sort of cool guy that I am. Speedrunning tricks. Just let everything kill you, it's fine. Alright, so let's see what happens with the sprite flicker set to normal. It's probably going to be about the same because... Yeah, wow, look at that! That's amazing! Okay, so this is what the NES actually looked like, and you forget that, kids, with your emulation and your virtual console, but yeah, it kind of sucked at handling a lot of things moving on screen at once. So, if you're not going for, cycle perfect accuracy or whatever, then it's probably just as well to turn on the extra sprites because some of these old NES games can be pretty grody, especially the ones that were really pushing the boundaries. I've never been so disgraced by yarn. Someone wanted to know if they missed Super Mario World. I'm afraid so, because that's not on the NES. You must be thinking of the Super NES, which is a totally different system, and is not available as a clone console by RetroUSB. Although I really hope Analog and other companies like that start to do Super NES, because that would be rad. Who doesn't love the Super NES? An HDMI out Super NES? My god, that'd be amazing. Alright, anyway, I think that's enough Mega Man 3. So, let's jump back out. And I was just asked if I could run Lagrange point to show off the sound, and the answer is no, I cannot. I mean, I could, but I would have to shut the system down, and when I do a hard shut-off, that ends the stream, and you would have to come back. So it's not worth it. But I will be posting a video with my review of the system that has a lot of specialty mapper chips running on the Famicom port of the system, and that includes Lagrange point. So you can check that out when the review goes up at US GamerNet tomorrow, most likely. So let's see, what are some comments and requests in the stream? Ben Troarge, I can't even pronounce your name, said, I just tuned in. What's the compatibility like? It's very good. I've found a few things that don't work, but that could just be funky ROMs on an EverDrive. Everything that I've tried as a real cartridge, which has been, probably like 24 games, has worked just fine. And that includes both the Famicom port and the NES port. Like, both seem very compatible. Oh, the Action 52 does not work, but that's because, according to Flemish Dog, it doesn't work on EverDrive, which, no great loss. Trevo4 said, scanlines aren't too stream-friendly, but how do they look in person? They look good. And then that was immediately followed up by the comment, I never understood why people ask why people add artificial scanlines. They never look anywhere near the real deal. That is true, but I find that kind of breaking up the pixelation and darkening the image a little helps a lot when you're playing on a big LED TV, because games were never meant to be seen like this. So my preference when I'm not playing for a stream is to use a little bit of scan lines just to kind of soften things up a little bit. My dream, and I don't know if this is possible, but it would be for someone to create a system like this that targets HDR 4K televisions and uses downsampling and HDR to create like a very convincing scanlight effect, you know, where the brighter colors kind of blow out with the phosphors more and are thicker against the scan lines. But I'm sure we're probably like 10 years away from that. But it's a nice dream, isn't it? Doesn't that sound sexy? I would love that. So someone requested Wampum for some weird reason. So here we are playing Wampum because my playing an actual Mega Man game apparently was not cool enough. So now we have to play the fake, weird ersatz Mega Man by Jalico. And this game actually is relevant to the... Oh, I took a hit already. Congratulations, me. This game is relevant to the Retronauts episode that went up last week at retronauts.com and usgamer.net because even though this game is like weird Native American in China, here in America, in Japan it was called Sayuki World, you know, like The Journey to the West. I think it was Sayuki World 2, and it was the sequel to Sayuki World 1, which was the follow-up or something to a game that was just a reskinned Wonder Boy. So we went from Wonder Boy to Mega Man, which I guess, you know, you could have a worse evolution if you want. And why is that eyeball flopping around? That's so gross. This game is weird. This does not resemble any of the Native American myths that I remember reading about. Oh, damn them. Damn the eyeballs. So yeah, this is Sayuki World. It's colorful and the little character's cute, I guess. There's gross eyeballs flying from the sky for no particular reason. And, oh, spikes. Don't want to hit those. So feel free to make some more game requests. That is an Oni, which is very definitely not part of Native American lore. This game offends me. Actually, I'm not sure why an Oni would be in Sayuki World anyway, since that took place in China and Oni are Japanese. But what do I know? Okay, so I guess this is like a vision quest. Magic Forest, that's where they grow the mushrooms. Castlevania 3, why, what a great suggestion. Why don't we skip from Wampum to Castlevania 3? Alright. Castlevania 3. Let's not play the European version because that would be a disastrous on an NTSC setting. Castlevania 3 does look good. Akumajo Dracula or Akumajo Densetsu, the Japanese version with the fancy sound and advanced graphics, also looks great. It's a pretty damn great game, no matter how you play it. I haven't actually tested it on the EverDrive yet. I've only played this on the original cartridges, the Japanese and American, but they had no problems. I'm sure this will be just dandy. So, let's see what's up with Trevor. The nameless hero. He will be forgotten. Oh, let's see, any other questions? Famicom Disk System, what is it? ROMs are only available to use expansion audio if you have an EverDrive plugged in to the Famicom cart slot. I believe so. I haven't used an EverDrive Famicom version, so I don't know exactly how that works, but I'm pretty sure that to get audio, advanced audio, you need something plugged into the Famicom slot because the NES slot doesn't have the pinouts for the advanced audio. So the system, the RetroUSB, does support Famicom Disk System. I played several games. Like I said, I'll be posting a video with my review on US Gamer, and they work great. I saw some crazy little glitches in Doki Doki Panic that I'm pretty sure are actually part of the original game because it's kind of like the weird half-assed version of Super Mario Bros. 2. But the game looked and sounded correct. So yeah, everything that I've tried on this so far, aside from known incompatibilities like Action 52 and EverDrive, have been great. So, yeah, here's Castlevania 3. Here's Trevor killing skeletons and bats and stuff. You've got the weird color palette things in the background, like that yellow column on the left for no particular reason. It's supposed to be yellow, and it is. Oops, I always do that. Every damn time. Always jump into that skeleton. At this point, I think it's tradition. If you are just joining me at the halfway mark through the stream, hello, welcome. I'm Jeremy Parrish, US Gamer, playing the RetroUSB AVS Console. I'm reviewing it for US Gamer. Should have that up tomorrow with cool video comparisons versus an an Analog NT, and so on and so forth. So please look forward to that. But in the meantime, I'm playing games and getting hit by Medusae. And if there are any games you would like for me to play, I will try them. Don't request Famicom Disk System games or games that use expansion audio on Famicom carts because I can't do that for you right now. But anything else, any NES game or any Famicom game that does not require expansion ports, that would be fine and dandy. This axe, who put that there? Oh, I'm not being responsible. Responsible practical hero, destroying everything with holy water to get a multiplier. I will rectify that post-haste. Such as the Flea Man. He must die. With fire. Holy fire. I've gotten in the habit of playing this game... stopwatch. Playing this game a lot, the Japanese version, for tests and things like that, because, you know, the advanced chip that it used is very complicated and doesn't always work correctly. So, it's actually a little weird to see the NES version now, because I'm a pretentious snob. That's what I am. Oh, look at that. Triple multiplier already. The boss is going to be toast unless I'm stupid and accidentally pick up a dagger. In which case, I deserve to die. That is the thing that I do not want. That stupid dagger. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but versus triple holy water? Nah. Let's see if I can stun lock this dude. Oh yeah, you thought you were gonna beat Trevor Belmont, the nameless hero, but you were wrong. Okay, so, hooray! That's Castlevania 3. Let's see, Ruzy1213 says, can I play a Super Dodgeball with extra sprites on? By God, I think I can. Let's turn on some extra sprites. And mosey on over to Super Dodgeball. Alright. Kids, I don't condone piracy, but for the sake of a stream, it must be done. I actually do try to play from real cartridges whenever I can, but I do keep one of these things around because it's valuable for my profession. So I am playing Super Dodgeball, which is actually not a game that I ever play, so I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's just go. Okay, sure. So this is Super Dodgeball with extra sprites on, and ooh, it's not looking so good. It's a little shaky. This game does way too much. So it's running at like 20 frames per second, and it's flickering, and this is with extra sprites. Oh, and I just took a ball to the face. And another one. Why am I not catching the ball even though I'm hitting the button? Damn you. Damn you, little fat person. Oh. Okay, well, I'm terrible at this game, and as you can see, it's pretty... it's pushing the limits of the system even with the clone element happening, so what can you do? I'm not very good at this. Oh, look at that. I caught it. Okay, so I'm gonna play something else. Yeah, I think that would be good. News... Oh. Wait, Moon Crystal? Sure, I'll play a little Moon Crystal. We'll see how that looks, I guess. I do have it. Oh yeah, someone just requested Mario 3. Sorry, I already did that, but you can watch the stream archive. That will be lovely. So this is a game I've only played a little bit of, but man, look at that animation. Isn't that nice? Little kids stabbing dudes in the gut. Tiny little bats flying around. Now I have a bigger sword, so I can stab dudes in the gut even more effectively. Yeah, this game was really... I think this was pretty heavily influenced by Prince of Persia, with the animation and the grab and hang. So it's kind of an attempt to create an original Famicom game in the style, kind of the vibe of Prince of Persia, but you know, not so much of a Prince of Persia game per se, but more of a traditional NES platformer. It's a shame this game never came to the US. I don't know why not. Oh, you gotta really work to turn around. Yeah, the publisher on this was Hecht, which I don't think had an American arm. But as far as I know, this game doesn't use like a super fancy mapper, so... Ugh, come on, little guy. Let's go. There we go. So there's no reason this couldn't have come to the US. It's just one of those things, I guess. This is a game that costs a lot of money if you try to buy it as an actual cartridge. So I recommend that as expert mode. Wow! Oh, that's nice. No bottomless pits here. Well, maybe for her. This game is very generous with the permanent power-ups. I'm sure that will change as I get further into the game, but I don't think I'm going to play it that long, so... Oh! Spiders. So anyway, as you can see, this game looks nice on an AVS, so that's good. Seem to be in a loop of some sort. Nope. I found a guy with a big underbite. Let's see if I can beat Mr. Underbite with his receding hairline and his mullet. That hairstyle, you deserve to die. Oh, bad news. Alright, dude. Just go down. Oh. Oh, mutual death. Double love suicide. Alright, so yeah, that's Moon Crystal. It's pretty cool. Let's see something else. Gunnack. Okay, I will try Gun Neck. I'm not very good at that game because it's a shooter. So any other questions about the functions and form and so forth of this video game? Or of this console, I guess, video game. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might happen to have. Uh-oh, Nextsoft. That's never a good sign. That's a trigger for me after all the crappy Game Boy games I've played by Nextsoft. I guess they're not crappy, they're just weird. Config.sys. That's nice. I like that. This is a game for nerds by nerds. Oh yeah, this is like a super customizable game. Yes. So this is a game that lets you even set whether you want it to be flickery or smooth. That's crazy. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, so let's see what happens. I have $0. I can have 4 bombs for free. Thanks. Look at my tiny little spaceship. This is a compile shooter, and I don't play a lot of shooters, but I do know that compile is pretty badass. Look at all the stuff that's already happening. Wow. It's Randar. Hello, Randar. They didn't really do bullet hell back in the day, but this is definitely getting up there. Oh, this is the one where you're like a carrot, or not a carrot, a rabbit on the moon, which is based on some Japanese legend. Oh, and I died, because that's what I do in shooters. I die. That looks like armor of some sorts. There's little faces in the moon. That's great. And rabbits. Go back to making mochi, stop shooting me. So I don't know if the presence of Randar is supposed to put this in some sort of continuity, or if he's just a mascot, but this game could be a sequel to the Guardian Legend and also Golbelius. You never know. Anyway, this is handling... Aw, I took a bullet. This is handling all the stuff on screen pretty smoothly. I'm not seeing any errors or anything that I wouldn't, expect of a normal NES game. Wow, look at all my bullets flying everywhere. There's a carrot missile probably chasing me. Oh, there's a lot happening. This is pretty intense. I would like another one of those armor things. That was pretty great. And I'm going to get hit at some point, so having some backup would be nice. Oh, there we go. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Oh god, it's the Gradius effect. Now I'm pathetic again. Money does not do you any good in space combat. Oh, of course. I'm at my weakest, and here's a boss, which appears to be a green blob. Well, that's great. This is going to be slow and tedious, and I'm going to die, so please look forward to it. Oh, I didn't die. Congratulations, me. Okay, so that's Gun Neck running on an AVS. Looks like we're moving into the final stretch of the stream, so if you have any more requests, please ax me. Someone says, do the Retro USB run ROMs natively, or are you using an EverDrive? It's an EverDrive. This does not run ROMs. The system runs off cartridges. So it's not an emulator, it's a clone system, and that makes a difference. Let's see. So some requests. I don't see any Crisis Force. Oh, let's try New Zealand Story. It is, as someone said, pretty flickery. I've got the extra sprites on. So, oh yeah, by the way, if you're just joining the stream, here's some of the stuff you can do. I would recommend going back and watching the stream archive because I showed all this stuff at the beginning, but there are a lot of options for display. Not a ton, it's not overwhelming, and it's all pretty straightforward, but definitely a variety of things you can do. So here's my EverDrive showing off hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars worth of lawsuits. Good times. So there's New Zealand Story, and oh, I only have, oh right, it's Kiwi Craze in America. That was the European version. Kiwi Craze is the American version. There we go. You guys almost got me to crash the system by using a European ROM. This game is so great. Even if they did, for some reason, call it Kiwi Craze in America. This is part of that whole, like, Bubble Bobble-ish universe. There's New Zealand Story, and Farland Saga, and Rainbow Islands, and God knows what else. Fairyland Story. Oh, that's a spike! How about that? That's some iffy sprite design. Like, you can't even see it. Not a fan. Okay, so watch out for hazards that are the exact same color as the rest of the background. A helpful trick to know when playing New Zealand Story on NES. Despite that, I still like this game. It's cute and fun. Although this seems a little difficult. Can I shoot through walls? I cannot shoot through walls. So just gonna have to go for it. So I have the extra sprites turned on for this game. Someone mentioned that this game tends to be pretty flickery on NES. So, wow, you're actually traveling through New Zealand. I did not realize that. This is a much better game based on the Australian, New Zealand, Tasmania region than Tasmania Story. Alright, so now, oh, spikes again. I gotta do something about that color palette. Man, that's just ridiculous. Alright, I was about to say that I hijacked a dude's little bomb blimp thing, and that's usually when the sprite flicker shows up in force, but it seems to be going okay right now. Let's see if I can get through it safely. Yes, there we go. Alright, oh. That didn't work so well. So this game features a lot of spikes and hazards that are the exact same color as the rest of the background, which I'm not a fan of. I've only ever really played a lot of the arcade version, which is not quite so muted and limited. So anyway, that was New Zealand Story. Or Kiwi Craze, if you prefer. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to show off PAL carts. The system does do PAL carts, but I don't have any PAL carts and have had bad experiences trying to use PAL carts on EverDrive. So, yeah, sorry about that. Any last games? I'm about to wrap up the stream. Joe and Mac. Was there a Joe and Mac on NES? Wow. Why would they do that? Okay, let's try Joe and Mac. Let's see what happens. Well, there sure as hell is. All right. We're really digging for the classics today. You can see that since I've got the vertical ratio set pretty tight, some of the stuff on the bottom is being cut off. You can adjust that by going into the settings and expanding the vertical borders. Shame on the creators of Joe and Mac for using the full height of the NES resolution. There you go. Now you can read licensed by Nintendo and so forth. Oh, this is definitely one of those European games. Did you see those gigantic chunky fonts? Yikes. Oh, but look, parallax scrolling. Yeah, I don't think this is the optimal way to play this game, folks. I do like the piranha plant in the background. Hey, wait, where did that guy come? Oh, suddenly they're swooping at me? I don't approve of this. What are these shenanigans? This has the look of a 16-bit game that someone tried really hard to do their best with on NES. And I can respect that, but it's... yeah, not loving this. Why don't we play a better caveman game? One that would normally cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars to be able to play. Assuming I have it, yes I do. Okay, there we go. Let's try this. Another 16-bit game that's trying its best to play on an 8-bit system. So I'll play this for a couple minutes and take one last recommendation for a game to try out before wrapping up the RetroUSB AVS Showcase stream. Bonk is big now. So I've seen that the stream kind of fluctuates in the number of people are watching. So I assume people are coming in and dropping out. So in case you have missed all of this, this has been a showcase of, like I mentioned, the RetroUSB AVS console, which is going to ship, I think, next month, and is a clone console of the NES. It's a field programmable gate array, not an emulator. So it's pretty accurate. It's been in development for a very long time, and is a pretty quick and easy way to play NES games in high definition. It offers only HDMI. Yikes. Bonk. Oh! Lava. Can't walk on lava. So what was I saying? I was saying that, yeah, it's only HDMI, so it won't play Zapper games or those two Rob games, if that's your thing. But it does play a lot of stuff. It's compatible with PAL region as opposed to just being NTSC. It has both a Famicom and NES slot, so you can play import games. It does support the Famicom disk system. Oh, head bonking cactus is not a good idea. Yeah, Famicom disk system and expansion audio chips from the Famicom, like Castlevania 3 or Lagrange Point, work just fine. It offers a lot of scan lines and other options for display. So I'm really digging it. I do like my professional capture work from an analog NT, and that's probably how I will continue to do my professional capture. But this is a great plug-and-play system to just have plugged into my family TV, and you know, I don't have to go through a FrameMeister or use an old CRT television. I can just pick up and play video games with it. It's pretty straightforward and easy just out of the box. So I'm liking it so far. That seems good. Anyway, so this is Bonk's Adventure, which I'm terrible at. Alright, so Let's find one last request before calling it a day. Ooh, Rekka. Yes. Why don't we try Rekka if I have Rekka? Oh, someone asked the price on this. Yeah, it's $185, and then it's like another $15 for the basic shipping. So effectively, it's $200, which is, I think, a really fair price for a system that does what it does. If you're one of those people who's like, well, I could just play everything for free with an emulator, well then, there you go. Nope. Looks like, maybe it's under Summer Carnival. Yeah, there we go, Summer Carnival. Yeah, I mean, if you just want to play games for free, or if you just want to play like the Mario games, then you probably just want to play Virtual Console or the what do you call it, the classic mini NES. But this is great if you have a nice NES collection and want to get great use out of it and be able to play pretty much lag-free on an HD television. I have not noticed any slowdown with this, any like input lag once I set my TV, my family TV, to the proper settings and got rid of all the little display features and embellishments. It's crisp and precise. Wow, I got bullet held. There's a lot happening in this game, but I do believe I have extra sprites on, so as you can see, the system's handling this insanity pretty well, better than I am, really. Yeah, this was definitely a technical showcase for the system, and you can buy this on 3DS Virtual Console. For some crazy reason, they said, yes, let's release that in America. And that was really cool, but I really feel like the 3DS is not the most impressive way to experience this game. Like, it seems so tiny. But then you put this on a big screen TV, and all of a sudden there is just crazy stuff happening all over the place. Wow, like that! And then you die. Oh, are you serious? What the hell? Can't even seem to... there we go, I hit something. And I want to avoid that. Wow, and those. Alright, so I'm terrible at Rekka, but the AVS is not terrible at Rekka, so that's cool. The system seems to be handling bullet hell with panache. So anyway, hopefully that answers any questions you might have about this. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching me stumble my way through a bunch of classic and not so classic games. And oh, this thing just doesn't want to die. I will be publishing a full review of the system with videos showcasing a bunch of games that I couldn't play today. Alright, anyway, that'll go up tomorrow and you can check it out and see what's up, and hopefully that will answer any more questions you might have. But thank you for watching, and there we go, I died. So that's the AVS. I will be streaming more videos tomorrow, but they will be Super NES videos, so please look forward to that. Anyway, if you missed the beginning of this and wanted to see some of the system's features, be sure to check out the stream archive that will go up later. So thanks again. I will be back because I do that sort of thing.